We all dream, but is it easy to live the dream? You should be inspired, you should work hard, and you should be ready to make some sacrifices along the way. And most importantly, you should believe in yourself. The next guest in the Spotlight segment today is a dreamer and an achiever because he's living his dream. Let's welcome Joey Chan, founder of Cloud Jedi Solutions and a newly minted Salesforce MVP, for his extraordinary contribution to the Salesforce ecosystem. Kamusta ka, Joey?
Mabuti. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on the show, Joey. It's a pleasure to have you here today. But that's all the Filipino I know. Next time we meet, I'm pretty sure we're going to talk. We talk in Filipino.
Yeah, no worries.
Joey, you have an inspiring journey. But before we get into that, take us a little through your childhood.
All right. When I was a little kid, I'm basically the youngest of there's actually five of us. So growing up, my parents are actually into business. They actually sell snack foods. So we actually see all of their hard work because the business is actually based at home. So every day I see all of the things that they do, and they actually involve me in terms of the things that I can do as a child, right? So I see a lot of the work firsthand.
So you started understanding the customer from a very young age, is it?
Yeah, pretty much. So handling stocks, inventory, and things like those. Yes.
So why is that, you wanted to start your own business?
Well, in the Philippines, growing up from a Chinese family, business is actually one of the things that they really help you learn throughout childhood and growing up. So I would say I'm groomed to want to have my own business in the future.
Basically, you wanted to do business for your personal growth.
Yes, pretty much, yes. To be able to control our destiny, I would say.
Got it. Control your destiny. That's wonderful. Joey, so you've always, wanted to get into business, but when was that realization point, that you have to get into IT?
For me personally, during my childhood, it's really computer games that inspired me a lot to actually want to get into technology. So starting with family computer, PlayStation, and then later on online computer games, right? One of my dreams even back then in high school is actually to have my own computer shop, like where you could actually have a really fast internet connection, right? Back then, it was actually really expensive to have your own connection that's fast. So
I remember the DSL connections. I remember
Right.
them, the dial-up connections.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Joey. Is it? I'm going to ask you this question. I was having a conversation with you the other day. So, is it true that you got married to your childhood crush, high school crush?
Yeah, pretty much, yes. So back then in high school, she's one of those definitely good girls. She actually obeyed her parents. She wasn't actually entertaining any suitors back then. So what happened is during college, we weren't able to connect much. So it's only after college that we were able to reconnect. And then that actually started dating. And then from there, within
So
around
she
2
never
years,
looked
we
at you
got
in the
married.
college.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
During that time, she's probably just ignoring me though.
I understand how tough it is.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Joey, you were talking about your high school as well, right? When was it that you got in touch with Salesforce as a technology, and when did you make the decision of that I should get into Salesforce ecosystem?
Right. It's actually back in college. So I was acting as a student group leader. So part of my role there is helping events for the IT group. So one of the things that I organized is there's actually an event where a company that's into Salesforce consulting had an event with that. And then part of that is actually teaching Salesforce administration as a part of a course. And then that got me into Salesforce admin. And then eventually, later on, that's actually one of the first companies that I got into.
Awesome. And when was this, Joey? Which year was this?
Actually, that's around 2008. But then
2008?
yes, during my graduation in 2009, I had this dream, right? Remember, I wanted to have my own business, and I had this goal. I wanted to have it within 5 years. I had these two options. Should I go with SAP or should I go with Salesforce? If I were to go with SAP, who would trust a 26-year-old with their whole system? Probably not much, right? So that's actually the reason why I chose Salesforce. It's mainly because, hey, there's so much I can do on my own. I can technically build the whole system for a business on my own, right? Because of the how flexible the platform is and the
It's built on the
capabilities.
cloud. What more do you
Yeah,
want?
pretty much. And I can all do it from anywhere, right? So that's one of the biggest benefits here.
Awesome, awesome. I think you made the right decision, which is why you're in this position today. But you know, what what were what were the things you did to learn Salesforce? Because 2008 was really early for
Right.
any Salesforce person to start off with. How did you learn Salesforce, and how tough was it?
Once I've decided that, hey, I want to go with Salesforce, basically, my main goal is, hey, I want to be an expert in this field. Much so, probably, I'm hoping to be world class in this specific field, right, that I've chosen. So, in order to do that, I won't be able to compete with others that have, 3 years, 5 years experience, right? But what I can do is actually I can compensate by outlearning them as much as I can, right? So one of the things I did back then is there's actually an app called Google Reader. So it's a web app where you could actually subscribe to RSS feeds. So what I did is I tried to find all of the Salesforce related blogs, whether it's on the development or on the admin side. I would actually subscribe to each one of those and then back read all of their older posts in order for me to understand what the platform is capable of and then basically learn as much as I can, right?
Absolutely, Joey. You're such an inspiration, right? You've outlearned people around you through your hard work. I also got to know that you used to travel 4 hours every day to your work, and you use this time to go through Salesforce content. That is such an inspiration for a lot of aspiring people in the ecosystem. Joey, again, I know you got married and you're on an extended honeymoon for the last 4 years. You just love traveling with your wife. Talk us a little about that.
Yeah. So being in the working with the cloud in Salesforce, right? One of the biggest privileges is basically as long as you have a laptop and your internet connection, you can basically work from anywhere, right? So of course we took advantage of that. So like you said, we actually had our extended honeymoon. Um, Normally, whenever people get married, they usually will have one big honeymoon, right? But what we did instead, we actually divided it across multiple months. Actually, I believe we did it across a year. So all around each month, we were traveling to a different location, whether it's locally within the Philippines or internationally. So we actually did go to several countries within Asia, and we also went to Australia then. So
I
it's
know,
actually quite fun.
I know, I have to make this statement. Salesforce lets you live your life. You lucky couple.
Pretty much, yes. So it's definitely a big privilege, of course. Especially now, it's quite hard to travel, right? It's of course we're definitely looking forward to when the time the countries open up again, and then looking forward to traveling again, right?
Absolutely, and please stay safe, Joey. Which brings me to my next question, right? How did you get into the Salesforce community? Because you've given back to the community in a lot of ways. So just wanted to know your journey there as well.
Right. So during the start of my journey, I was trying to learn as much as I can about the Salesforce platform, right? Apart from the blogs, one of the best ways I actually accelerated my learning on my own is actually through the Answers community. So I actually see quite a lot of questions there coming from people that either starting out in their journey with Salesforce or they were just tasked that, hey, somebody just gave this to me and I have no idea about Salesforce. And these are the type of people that need help, right? So whenever I see a question, I would look at it. Hey, can I answer this? If yes, I'll go ahead, right? If not, I'll then try to research, hey, what's the answer to this question? And then from there, I'd actually learn what the answer is and then answer it for them, right? A couple of things happen because of this. One is I'm actually learning in terms of how others use Salesforce. I'm learning in terms of all of the different possible intricacies that companies use Salesforce, right? So each company could be using it differently. And third one is I'm also learning things that I won't normally learn from within my job or my projects, right? So that really accelerated the learning a lot, and that helped me a lot in terms of knowing Salesforce much more.
Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. And a lot of people benefited because of you as well. And thank you so much for that. Joey, you own a company now, Cloud Jedi Solutions. What is that one advice you have for our Salesforce developers today?
I would say definitely continuous learning. Everybody in IT, when you stop learning, that's when you stagnate, and that's going to be a big problem, right? So every year, there's always that pre-releases by Salesforce. We, of course, have to keep up. Of course, not just that, we already have Trailhead, right? And there's so much more content now out there on the internet. If you're a visual, you could go to YouTube. There's so many out there that can help you learn. So I would say it's one of the biggest. And nowadays, especially with the pandemic, I would say one of the nice benefits or that it granted is if not most of the user groups are actually doing their events virtual. So there's nothing really stopping anyone from joining the user groups from around the world, right? I would recommend finding the calendar that shows you the different events around the world.
That's a great advice, Joey. And in terms of implementation, do you have any advice for our Salesforce developers?
I would say for developers, definitely making sure that you fully understand the governor limits. And there's actually a new website just recently launched a few months ago, architect.salesforce.com.
Absolutely.
This is where
it's a
you
very
would
valuable website, yeah.
Yep. This is where you would understand all of the different pros and cons and what to consider whenever building your solution.
There you go, guys. The advice from Joey. Visit architects.salesforce.com and also take care of your governor limits.
Yeah.
Wonderful, Joey. Thank you so much for being part of Dev Talkies. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. And by the way, we know that you travel and you're also, a fitness freak. You're into CrossFit, which is why we thought we should present you the kettlebells, especially in times of pandemic, when you want to be fit and when you're a fitness freak. You would really love these things.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for being part of Dev Talkies, Joey. Have a great day.